promising to bring about generational change through projects and measures that his administration will bravely pursue despite opposition or skepticism. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. chose to affix his signature today on a piece of legislation that both the executive and legislative branches of government believe is a way for the country to finally break free from the bondage of monetary debt, but also give our country a fighting chance to stand on our own 2 feet, financially independent, and hopefully one day flourishing economically. Alan Francisco tells us more.
For the first time in the history of the Philippines, we now have a sovereign wealth fund designed to drive economic development.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has signed the first sovereign wealth fund of the Philippines, the Maharlika Investment Fund or MIF Act of 2023, that will help in the development and growth of the country's economy.
Through the fund, we will leverage on a small fraction of the considerable but underutilized investable funds of government and stimulate the economy without the disadvantage of adding additional fiscal and debt burden. And this is maybe perhaps it's time that we clarify all the questions and answer all the questions that have been raised about the Maharlika Fund.
It is expected to create more jobs and funding for government projects. Through this, the country will also invest in the agriculture, infrastructure, and the digital sector.
The first part of this administration was spent on a very simple principle that we will go out to the world and we will do the changes that are necessary for the Philippines to become an investment-friendly nation. And that has earned some success, both on the private sector and also in the public sector. However, these are all borrowings. And we now put aside a fund wherein the government's funds that are, as I said, underutilized. The instincts of any financial manager is that money must work for you. It must not sit in the bank and earning an interest rate that is almost up to the level of the cost of money. And that's why we go in and out of these accounts.
According to President Marcos, the MIF is a financial decision, not a political one. The President is confident the fund will be properly managed with the help of the best economic managers from government and the private sector.
To transform the Philippines into a country that not only is investment-friendly, but also is competitive in the rest of the world. That is the point of this fund.
In an earlier joint statement of the Department of Budget and Management, Finance, NEDA, and the Bangko Sentral, they said the MIF will absolutely not use public pension funds and savings. It is clear in the approved new law that the withdrawal of funds from pension and social funds such as GSIS, PhilHealth, and SSS is prohibited. The initial capital will come from Land Bank in the amount of 50 billion pesos and the Development Bank of the Philippines with its share of 25 billion pesos. The remainder will come from the first 2 years of BSP's dividends and the government's share of PAGCOR's profits. After the signing of the MIF Act, the implementing rules and regulations will be drafted for the creation of the Maharlika Investments Corporation. The government guarantees the MIF will not be tainted with corruption. A joint congressional oversight committee will be established to supervise and examine the implementation of the law. External and internal auditors will also be appointed to regularly check the records of the Maharlika Investment Corporation. There will also be transparency measures put in place, such as publication of investment policy and financial statements.
We remain steadfast in our commitment to transparency, accountability, and good governance in this massive and purposeful undertaking.
Napakadaming safeguards, no? In fact, pag binasa mo yung law, several pages yung unang-una nakalagay doon, hindi mo talaga pwedeng magamit yung funds na para sa Social Security, no? Enumeration. I think in 3 places, GSIS, SSS, so ganun. That's number one. Tapos, meron talagang layers of audit. Meron tinatawag na internal audit, meron external auditor, kasama dyan ng COA, tapos meron pang yung oversight committee na both houses of Congress are represented. Talagang napaka-tight ng accountability requirements.
Alan Francisco for The Nation.